and welcome to No Such Thing as a Bad Movie podcast. I'm April Mansky, and I'm here today with
Justin DeClue.
And Colin Carnage Cunningham. Carnage, you can just call me Carnage
Are you guys
Cunningham.
ready? You ready for action?
Oh, yeah.
guys. This is supposed to be a sad, somber
Oh,
episode.
this is like a solemn
because
episode,
We
right?
are saying
That's
goodbye.
not how Mr. Weathers would have wanted it.
You're
I know.
right. We should be celebrating this wonderful man.
We should be eating stew and...
You should be celebrating by signing up for the Important Cinema Club Patreon, because that's how Carl
Hey.
Weathers would have loved it.
Oh, you fucking
What about our Patreon?
Hey, what the hell, man? You can't do that.
Listen, he loves people making money. I'm just out there for myself.
He was-
Did you see
he would
that
have appreciated.
interview?
He would have appreciated your hustle.
Yeah, that interview with the showrunner or maybe a writer of Arrested Development, that they were going to contact Carl Weathers and just ask him to do a Rocky 3 parody.
Uh-huh.
And he actually said, like, can we not do a Rocky 3 parody? Could you make me, like, cheap or something? And he's
God
the one who
bless
pitched
him.
it for Arrested Development.
God bless him, because that was like one of the funniest running bits on that show.
You quote that very often.
Don't throw that bone out. There's still some meat on there. Throw that in some water. You got yourself a stew, baby.
you can
done
save
so
your per
many-
diem.
He's done so many great roles. I mean, I grew up loving him in Happy Gilmore, of course.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
so
of
funny in
course.
Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, maybe we should watch that tonight. It is Valentine's Day when we're recording this. What says Valentine's Day more than Happy Gilmore?
Happy Gilmore. It's funny. I mean, like, Carl Weathers, you can't think of a bad thing really to say about him. He's
And-
wonderful. He's a great presence on screen. And then, he was having his big resurgence with The Mandalorian.
And also, he's a director, right?
yeah, he
directed,
directed a bunch of episodes of The Mandalorian, some really good ones, actually. It was
I'm
good
glad that he had that, like, second wind.
Yeah, it was
right
good.
before he passed away, unfortunately.
Oh, that's so sad. And it's it was very unexpected. I mean, geez, he was
Well, I
like,
know he was old.
he was like 76 or something like that, but
Also, I love him in Rocky. I mean,
he's
Oh,
great.
he's
one of
so
my
good in
favorite
Rocky.
characters in that whole series.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, today we're talking about Action Jackson, a movie we've seen before many, many years ago because
Mm-hmm.
we heard it was good. And you know what? It was. And yet somehow has like a 13% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, it's got a 19%, which is shameful. Come on.
Now, guys, I know
Yeah.
you're going to be shocked by this.
What?
I'm pretty mid on this movie.
Yeah, okay.
You're wrong, Justin.
I can understand, Justin.
I used
I
to
have
joke
my
with my
issues.
friends, I'm like, Action Jackson? More like Inaction Jackson. When are they going to do something?
it is true.
It could be better,
Yeah.
but there's still so much good stuff in this
Yeah.
movie. Good action.
It is kind of dragged down by the kind of dull sections where kind of nothing happens.
And
It's
also-
so
walks
weird. Like, as we go through the plot, we'll talk about it, but like, the opportunities are all there, and
Yeah.
they just don't do it. And Carl Weathers throughout the movie, he's got some scenes where it really pops off, but he seems very tired during the film.
I agree. There's like opportunities for good one-liners, and he has like one, maybe two good one-liners. The rest of
it
them
feels
are-
like they remembered in the climax, and they're
Yeah.
like, okay, let's put them all in here. Here's a dozen one-liners.
And some that don't even make any sense, but whatever.
I mean, he should be a little more animated because he can be charming.
I think he's
Yeah.
it's just the fact that he's saddled with vanity and not, I'm talking about the actual person
Can't
vanity.
blame.
Yeah.
I agree, but you can't blame all these movies' problems on vanity.
No.
Even though I think she's
I think there's
not great.
There's definitely script issues. It's like
It's
Yeah.
weird
didn't do
because it's
many
Joel
favors.
Silver, it's Craig R. Baxley, who is most famous as a stunt guy
Yep.
and a director of many Stephen King TV adaptations.
And the director of Stone Cold, which
You know
is
what?
an
Another
amazing
movie
movie.
I'm a little bit
Fucking-
mid on.
No way.
that
Yeah.
movie is
And I just watched it
outrageous.
like a couple months ago because we did it on the Base Review podcast.
No, I love that movie. I think
That
it's
movie has
such
an
a fun
amazing
time.
opening and an
Yeah.
amazing ending.
I don't know.
There's
It's got some
good stuff in the
there
middle,
is
too.
some craziness in the middle, man. Come on.
It's
But,
all right.
I mean, if I had to pick like a hero, I would definitely pick Action Jackson over Stone Cold or whatever.
Oh,
his
you don't
like
name
the
Boz?
is. What's his name in that movie?
Brian Bosworth.
No, but like his character's name.
Oh, he's just playing Brian Bosworth, the football player.
His name's like
who goes undercover.
John Cold.
John
or so- I
Stone
don't
or
know.
something. I think it's Stone. It's got to be Stone.
But yeah, this movie's better. I think. Well, I don't know.
But
I
it's
don't know.
no
Maybe
I
the
Come
same.
in
No, no.
Peace that the director would make right after this.
The same director?
Uh-huh.
I've never seen that. I've heard
And
great
you'll go
things.
in pieces.
Oh, it's a great movie. It's Dolph Lundgren. It's a Christmas movie.
Versus
and
like an alien that shoots
Yeah.
like CDs.
yeah, CDs out of his arms. Matthias Hughes is the guy.
I gotta see that. But yeah, this movie is very similar to a little movie I saw recently called Lethal Weapon. There's a lot of similarities, but you forget a lot of the actors that are in this until you watch it.
There's
Craig
so
T.
many. It's
Nelson.
almost a Tango and Cash level. Like,
Yeah.
oh, it's that guy.
Craig T. Nelson is the bad guy. Sharon Stone is in this, and Bill Duke as well.
Bill Duke. You have like some of like a Predator reunion because I think they came up with the idea of doing this on the set of Predator. I think
You think?
Carl Weathers kind of pitched it to the
Craig
stunt
R.
guy.
Baxley, the director of this,
Yeah.
he did all the stunts in Predator. Like, he was a stunt coordinator.
Yeah, so I think they were just shooting the breeze like in between takes or something, and he was, we should get together and do like a action movie. And then apparently one of the Australian crew members said like, oh yeah, I'd be there like Action Jackson.
It's a
Apparently.
great title.
Yeah,
I agree.
oh for sure.
And that's his nickname, but his name is actually Jericho
Jackson.
which is okay.
Jericho is an amazing name,
Yeah.
especially if it's alliterative like that. Jericho Jackson.
Jericho, like when someone's name is Jericho, it's like they fucking mean business.
That's Arnold's name in End of Days.
Oh yeah,
Jericho Kane.
Jericho Kane.
See, I don't get a lot of Jerichos these days.
Or maybe his name is like just Jerry Cocaine. Jerry
Well, that's Joel Silver's nickname, producer of this film.
Jerry Cocaine.
Well, I wish he was sniffing a little bit more cocaine when he was making this movie. It would have maybe been a little bit wilder. I mean, again,
was
there's good
sniffing
parts in
cocaine.
this.
Yeah,
But every time I watch it, I'm like,
it could.
I wish it was better.
It's what we say in the VFX biz. It's a CBB. Could be better.
I don't. I feel like the good parts are there's so many fun scenes. I think that that kind of get you through the more boring scenes.
But when you know, it's like usually when a stuntman is directing, you know there's going to be some fucking good explosions.
It's like you were
and
saying about
crazy
Stone
shit.
Cold. It starts and ends very strong. I mean,
very strongly.
there's things in this movie that I've never seen in any other movie. I'm going to say that. This is the Saltburn of 1988.
What?
Wait, what?
That's what everyone said about Saltburn. Wow, there's things in this movie I've never seen before.
Here's what I would
Therefore,
tell
it's
you.
a good
Watch some
movie.
gay porno and you'll see some.
It was really. I did find it weird though when Carl Weathers ends and he goes to like Craig T. Nelson's grave and then just starts like
spoilers.
having sex with it.
You're
Oh,
spoiling
I haven't seen
Saltburn.
Saltburn.
Oh, sorry. Well,
No, I don't care about spoilers.
It doesn't end that way. I
So
made
yeah,
it
and
up.
then his dick pops out of the grave, and, like it's a Carrie ending.
he grabs it like Carrie.
Okay, so this movie starts basically like Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, it kinda
it's
does.
Kind of the same thing where somebody flies out of a window, but
Oh, and I get so excited at this beginning, especially because it makes it feel like it's going to be about a group of masked guys murdering people.
Yeah, but I realized they have a name. They're called the Invisible Men.
and they all have terrible wigs.
This one guy, this mullet wig, he's like the smallest guy in the group of assassins, and he has like this fucking mullet wig.
I mean,
it has to be a wig.
It's kind of like a Mel Gibson in Lethal Weapon, but it's like blonde and bigger.
But he's like half the size of Mel Gibson, but the wig is the same size.
That's pretty short if you're half the size of Mel Gibson.
Oh, you're burning Mel Gibson, the racist, sexist, charismatic guy.
he's short.
He's like, someone's talking about me. That's big Mel Gibson.
Tell me who said it, God. Lord,
He's gonna
show
leave
me
you a
the way.
voicemail, April.
Oh no.
Oh no, don't pick up your voicemail.
Yeah, so there's two people. There's a cool scene. The guys break in. There's explosions. A woman gets thrown through a window and falls, exactly like Lethal Weapon.
These all
And
have to
there's
be
a-
like stunt.
But she's
men.
like thrown through a glass window, like inside.
Yeah.
It's like
Yes.
a glass wall, but then
Yeah.
the guy gets thrown outside.
guy,
A
yeah.
la Lethal Weapon. But he
now,
also
a
gets
little
set
bit
on fire.
disappointed. Joel Silver asleep at the switch. The guy goes crashing into a restaurant, and everyone's like, "Oh!" I was really hoping you would crash into a room where people are having sex, and then the woman is like, "Oh!"
Well,
But
that
this-
scene reminded me a lot of that opening shot of a ghost story.
Yeah.
Except he's not naked.
With Craig
Well, he has a
Wasson.
lot less floppy dick.
yeah, but he falls through like a glass ceiling. I guess kind of like, I don't know, like The Game too, but he just falls like on a table in a restaurant.
Yeah.
I don't remember who designed it, but like stuntmen love throwing people out of windows. I wonder if at this point they had figured out that like system to slow you down as you
like
get closer to the ground.
Well, I remember they did it in a movie called Stick with the Burt Reynolds.
Okay, so
it was
yeah,
Dar
that definitely
Robinson.
existed in 1988.
Yeah, it was kind of like a descender rig where it would kind of
It
descender
slow
rig,
slows
you
down as you get closer to the ground.
Yeah, but the wire was very. But this guy gets grenade launched or something out of a window.
He's so the flame is.
It's amazing.
This movie is not shy with the pyrotechnics.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you gotta watch I Come in Peace, April.
Maybe we should
director
watch
goes
that.
crazy
Yeah,
with explosions.
that's on the list next. But yeah, this flaming corpse falling is amazing. It reminded me of the scene from Manhunter when
The wheelchair.
like gets wheeled into like the garage and it's just like trailing this like flame plume. It's amazing.
Yeah, and from this cut to shots of cars being built because we're in Detroit. Can you tell?
Detroit.
And the Pointer Sisters singing a song called "He Turned Me Out" or something.
Yeah,
which
He
is like,
Turned Me Out.
yeah, prostitution and cars. That's Detroit.
But it's like a great soundtrack. So it's like you've got the Pointer Sisters doing the main theme song, and then you've got Herbie Hancock doing the rest of the soundtrack.
I mean, that's pretty great.
Which kind of has some really like weirdly inappropriate, kind of like sounds like Looney Tune like cartoon music.
Yeah.
Also, Michael Kamen, who's Joel Silver's guy, because he did Die Hard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was Herbie
Yeah.
Hancock and other person.
Michael Kamen, yeah.
So, I enjoyed the soundtrack very much. Although you're right, sometimes it was like a little like.
Dun, dun, dun.
Wah,
Dun,
wah,
dun,
yeah,
The real
yeah.
Beverly Hills Cop ification of scores.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what was the style.
Did you see the trailer for the new Beverly Hills?
I still haven't seen that trailer. No,
Eddie looks very tired.
Ah, boy.
wouldn't you be?
Well, we couldn't even get through like what
The third
15
one.
minutes of part 3.
Oh, I love the third one.
Does it get
George
better?
I
Lucas
swear we
being
had
like,
this
you can't cut in line.
We said the same thing last week.
Oh, that's right.
So
we
we were
have
talking about.
I'm going to keep saying it every time it comes up.
Like we're just gonna have to cover it on the podcast.
time is a flat circle.
John Landis saying, Eddie, could you do this a little bit funnier? And Eddie going, hey, Axel T. Foley's not making jokes anymore. And then John Landis said he went, oh, shit. I shouldn't have killed those kids.
But yeah, that's what I wasn't liking that movie. I was like, it's not funny. Like, anyway, we're not talking about Beverly Hills Cop 3.
Well, we might come back to it.
Not yet.
But yeah, so then you have like the typical, like, you have these two cops who are kind of barely in the movie, which feels like scenes
Thomas
got,
F. Wilson, Biff himself.
Biff Tannen.
himself.
It feels like scenes got cut because these guys are kind of in like one scene at the beginning, one scene in the middle, and then they show up at the end.
They're like the Greek chorus. They kind of come throughout the. They pop up throughout the movie, explain to everybody what's going on.
yeah.
But they're like trailing this like pickpocket who I think. Wait, don't we get the limo driver from Die Hard in this movie?
I think maybe you were just joking that it looked like him.
No, I think it is him. Might be.
Justin?
I don't know.
That would make sense because of the Die Hard connection, but anyway, yeah.
Did you
very
see
funny.
that limo driver? I don't remember what the actor's. His name is Devereaux White. Showed up in like a sad commercial with Bruce Willis.
Oh no!
like a couple years ago. Yeah, it's not good.
Was it really Bruce Willis or was it just like his?
I mean, it could have been a CGI double or just some bald guy. Like, yeah, Devereaux Wilson is Clovis in this movie.
Well,
Okay.
so you were right.
So it's got to be the guy, yeah. So yeah, he's like kind of trailing this woman, this very large woman who kind of looks like Tracy Morgan.
Yeah, anyway, so they apprehend him.
Well, they're kind of cracking up because they're like, I can't believe he's gonna like rob this woman, and then she ends up just beating the shit out of him, and then they kind of apprehend him.
And then they start talking up Action Jackson.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we're going to give you to Action Jackson. He does this. He does that. And now I'm licking my lips going like, can't wait to see Action Jackson do something. And the movie's like, hey, you're going to wait 65 minutes before he throws his first punch.
Oh, come on. It's all about
No.
the attitude. He's
I
got
timed
attitude.
it 65 minutes.
You're kidding.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my
What's he
god.
doing in the first half of this movie?
He
then?
doesn't have.
I know. Were you guys drinking a little when you watched this movie?
Okay,
Yes.
we did have to watch it again yesterday to remember what happened.
Okay. And you probably still had fun, right?
But we'd
Oh, yeah.
also seen it before,
Okay.
years ago. But it was a long time ago.
I don't want to drag Carl Weathers out of the dirt, shaking his dead body, asking him why is an Action Jackson better.
It's okay. You can be honest, but
But I
I mean, It's a recommend for me. I'm just skipping right to the end.
And that's the podcast. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
But yeah, so they're at the police station, and he's like pissing his pants about meeting Action Jackson, and then they bring him to Action Jackson.
Well, he tries to escape.
Yeah.
He tries to escape, then he ends up he spills coffee over some paperwork, and then looks at the name tag on the desk, and it's Sergeant, or was it? Whatever, Jericho Jackson.
Yeah. I just here I go, oh, couldn't have Jackson done something? Like his fist comes out or something like that, or even he just trips the guy.
Nope. He just says chill out or mellow out.
Yeah, chill out.
Yeah, I mean,
so sleepy.
Mel Gibson, Riggs, or Murphy.
Oh, he has an amazing introduction.
Yeah, he pulls a gun out in the station.
Yeah.
Or am I thinking?
But
of
even
the
before
parody?
that, he has that gunfight with the people in the Christmas tree lot.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I think that they were trying to do a thing where it's his reputation precedes him, but
He's
he should do something.
He's against type. He's kind of playing a bookish dork.
He's kind of
Yeah.
stoic. He
Yeah.
doesn't really say much.
Yeah, he's wearing a shirt and tie. He's got his liquid paper out. He's just doing paperwork, and all the cops around him are kind of joking that he's just going to be Xeroxing and blah blah blah.
But meanwhile, he's like a bodybuilder size.
Yeah.
Of course.
Huge. I guess that's supposed to be funny. I don't know.
Bill Duke calls him into his office and is like, you got to go to this dinner where Craig T. Nelson will be there, even though that you cut off his son's arm.
Yeah. And then he has a pretty good line where he says he had a spare. And didn't he say he said he's a sexual psychopath or something?
Yes. Now, how did the son not show up with a hook arm or something like this in the movie?
I don't
Not
know.
in the movie at all.
Yeah.
Maybe
No,
a scene
it's very
cut.
odd.
I think he's in jail. So basically,
No, I don't think he's in jail. I think he escaped to another country, didn't he?
Oh, I have
Well,
no
like,
idea.
Yeah, because
Craig T.
Nelson makes a crack about it at the party.
He doesn't abide by the law, so.
Well, first of all, Bill Duke. His name is Captain Armbruster.
Yeah,
It's
bit of a tongue tie there.
and he's the calmest I've ever seen Bill Duke in a movie.
Yes.
Bill Duke,
No,
he
he's-
doesn't really get angry in movies, does he?
No, I mean he was
doesn't
pretty
have to.
calm in Mandy.
Yeah, he's always very kind of even keeled.
But we looked it up. Craig T. Nelson and Bill Duke, two people in this movie taller than Carl Weathers.
Yeah.
So
They're
pretty
very
damn
tall.
They're both 6'4".
How tall is Carl Weathers?
I think we said 6'1", and
Wow, okay.
and the other two are 6'4".
so. He's my height.
Are you
6'2". Well, I'm not even joking.
Are you really
No, I think
6'2"?
I'm 6 feet, not 6'1".
Yeah, but I think your hair is adding a little bit.
No, you've got shorter hair now.
We're not recording a video podcast, so I have no idea what Justin looks like.
Me and Colin are standing back to back right now to measure ourselves.
Yeah, and I'm I think you're slightly taller. But this scene is just this is what I mean when it's sort of let down by the script. The exposition in this scene is unbelievable.
It's brutal, yeah.
They
A lot of
gotta get it
information.
out,
It's
Shane Black really needed to take a pass at this one.
oh, big
'cause-
time. It's
That'd be
like
great,
it's
yeah.
Jackson, how long ago was it that you lost your lieutenant stripes? He's like,
And your wife
tears.
left you,
And your
and-
wife
yeah.
left you.
When I cut off that kid's arm. Yeah,
Yeah.
all that fun stuff that happened before this movie
That you'll
started.
never see.
That we will not
And
see.
it's you are a decorated track star, blah, blah, blah. And he's
It'd be
listing
cool if
all
there
of
was
his accolades.
like a flashback to him.
Yeah, there's a lot in this movie of people telling you how awesome Action Jackson is.
Yes.
Yes, that is true.
Not enough of, what is it?
Action.
They say show, don't tell. This is
Okay,
all
so
tell.
Is next the dinner party scene?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Craig T. Nelson is being celebrated as Detroit Businessman of the Year.
Just businessman.
I don't know why Carl Weathers has to go to this.
But he owns the biggest car company that we find out. At
Right.
Craig T. Nelson does.
Yeah.
Yes. He's this rich, I don't know.
He's
just
the
evil
guy
guy.
who owns OCP.
Yeah. And he has the worst haircut in this movie. It's
not great.
Oh, I love his hair. It's dyed blonde and long.
But it's all wispy.
I don't
and
mind
kind
that.
of balding
I don't
on
mind
the
the
top.
cut. It's just the hair. The dye job is a little aggressive.
Yeah, he's got dark roots,
white
but
blonde, yeah.
he's got
Craig T. Nelson is having such a meal in this movie of playing the slimy villain, though.
I think he's really
He's
enjoying
good.
it. Yeah, he is
Yeah.
good in this. I enjoy him.
He's such a scumbag.
So
in this
Sharon
movie.
Stone shows up. She's his girlfriend, and she has the absolute.
Hello, Action Jackson. I think my husband or partner is innocent, and I will not die.
Yeah, she has the absolute worst hair and makeup styling in this scene that I've ever seen her. She looks worse than I've ever seen her. She looks fine later in the movie. It's just this makeup
all kind of like
and hair
nude
is really
lipstick
bad.
and nude
Everything is the
eyes.
same color.
Yeah, she's very beige.
It's weird.
She's very young in this movie.
Yeah, and like she's fine in this. She feels definitely green compared to later Sharon Stone performances, and
Yeah.
I love Sharon Stone. I think she's a great actress. She's really fun and like later in her career when she would do stuff like Catwoman, where she's just hamming it up, you know. And in this, she feels very young and innocent, and
She's overshadowed by Vanity, the charisma bomb.
And like this party, Action faces off against Craig T. Nelson, and they have like they're angry at each other.
Yeah.
And then Action just leaves the party. What? No goons are going to come after him or anything like that?
Yeah, he just sort of, I don't know. He's very. It takes a lot for him to get involved in the story.
Yeah. And no one like. Yeah, I guess he's not proactive until the end as an action guy. He's often ambushed or knocked out.
Doesn't he just like go home and start watching like TV?
yeah, well, he watches the commercial, the car
He's just
commercial.
like us.
Yeah, he goes home. He's in his tuxedo, and then he just like because the poster of the movie is him in his tuxedo. Back to back with
him and
Vanity,
Vanity back
and it's
to
like,
back.
wow, he's going to be like a James Bond type
No.
character. That's the last time you'll ever see him in that tuxedo.
I feel like the script was it feels like a draft of like a kind of mid-tier detective film.
Yeah.
But they're like, we can make it like an action vehicle, right? And they're like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, and they just sort of like get a stuntman to direct it and like, I gotta
fill
have
it
some-
fill it with stuntmen too.
Yeah, exactly.
They're all over the place.
Yeah.
There's some real like Al Jeong's been in the background all this time. When's they gonna do something?
Biggest disappointment of the movie.
Al Leong, sorry.
Al Leong, but we'll get to that because he shows up in almost every movie ever made.
That little guy's gonna do something.
You know it's gonna be good.
Yeah, so we get just like you. So basically, the plot of the movie is that was his name Peter Delaplane? Peter Delaplane.
Yeah, Peter Delaplane.
That's Craig T. Nelson's character is like this auto industry mogul who is knocking off the union heads one by one so that he can install his own patsy as like the head of the union to gain power.
That's pretty evil.
I guess. I don't know.
I mean, it's
Whatever.
not that evil, but I mean, he's having union leaders assassinated, including one fellow in a houseboat.
In a houseboat. This is really funny.
Which is
yeah.
funny because they plant a bomb and he's like, he practically looks at the camera and screams, and then it just explodes.
He screams a little too long before
Yeah.
the explosion happens.
I thought it was funny. He's got like blood like dripping out of his face.
But it's good. It's like a great explosion. You see the invisible men on their little dinghy, like
Yeah.
yeah,
kind
great
of
scene.
escaping. You know what I mean? With the explosion in the background. There's a lot of that in this movie of like people, actors, or stuntmen like just in front of a huge real explosion, which is very exciting to
yeah,
see.
and you don't see that anymore.
No. And then I guess the what is it? The tagline for Craig T. Nelson's car in the
Yes.
commercial is hot, hotter, hottest.
Which like
And Carl Weathers
Yeah.
sees that and goes, I'll remember that. I hope I'm driving a car like that at the end of the movie and Craig T. Nelson will be around.
kind of reminded me of like a RoboCop commercial, but not funny.
Yeah.
That's how commercials were in the 80s,
I
April.
guess so.
Colin would know.
Oh yeah, it's true. They were all like that. There are some fantastic. My friend keeps sending me these like 80s like the Laser. Like they used to have cars.
There's
that
a car called the
that were
Laser?
names like I don't know if it was like the Dodge Laser or something like that. But the commercials are fantastic.
Oh,
And
yeah. I'd like to see that.
It's like some guy in like a black jumpsuit with like a I don't know, a black motorcycle helmet, and he's always like shifting gears, and then like fucking lasers shoot out.
And it's a car commercial.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's just like the Laser. It's great. Highly recommend looking those commercials up.
I will.
So I don't know if like Action Jackson suspects like something's going down with Craig T. Nelson.
I believe Robert Davey shows up to give him information, right?
Yeah, who looks probably like the scummiest I've ever seen him look.
Oh,
in a
Robert
movie.
Robert Davey, a
Robert
good
Davi.
man. Yeah, Davi, who has done nothing
Yeah.
wrong.
Hey, what's he up to these days?
He's got a fantastic Instagram account.
But yeah,
Oy.
I love him because
Pretending to be
I mean,
Frank Sinatra.
like, has he ever not played a scumbag?
How could
I mean, he's very method.
With
He
a-
had
with a
to bring
face
it back
like
into his
that.
own life.
Yeah.
He looks so gross in this scene. He's just all stubbled up, and he's like, I think he's like an ex-cop or something who has some inside dirt on Craig T. Nelson's
Wait, no,
character.
doesn't he say that he used to be a track star that went to high school with Carl Weathers?
What? Really?
The track star thing is
Yes.
brought up, but
The morgue attendant says that when, after Carl Weathers leaves,
he gets killed.
someone shows up at the door, shoots Robert Davi in the chest.
He says
and
it's
then-
COD.
Yeah, it was the old package delivery man.
But
Yeah.
Robert Davi looks so like paranoid and sweaty, and he's looking out the window like every 5 minutes, and then just like this UPS guy knocks on his door,
I'll
and
sign for that.
I'll sign for that. I didn't order anything. Well, you dead.
And
now.
then Carl Weathers goes and sees his friend at the morgue, and that's when he says, they used to be friends in high school. And it's like, Davi looks like 100 years old. Carl Weathers went to school with
Because
him?
Carl Weathers is the picture of health, and Robert Davi is probably
himself. It's still kicking.
it's ironic that
yeah, he's still alive. I think he's doing like Daily Mail movies now or something.
Yeah, his bitterness keeps him going, I guess.
Robert Davi.
Yeah.
Well, he was fantastic in Showgirls.
And Maniac
And
Yeah.
Maniac Cop 2.
Cop. Or was it just two?
He's the star of that
Yeah,
movie.
not one.
Let's be honest, he's great in everything.
I
And in
kind
Die
of-
Hard
I
as
kind
well.
of agree. Yeah, I think he's great.
I mean, he always plays scumbags.
Yeah,
He's very good at
he's
it.
great at that. He's cornered
Wait,
the
in that
market.
morgue scene, the morgue attendant says, I'm writing it down as a suicide. And it's like,
What?
wait a
How?
minute.
Yeah.
He got shot in the chest.
Because everybody's corrupt.
He got shot in the chest, and he probably fell by his front door, and the door was wide open when they found his body. So
They're all on.
And there's no
Craig,
gun.
They're all on Craig T. Nelson's take.
Yeah, I
he
guess.
owns this town, although he never says that. He should say that.
He should say
because
that.
he basically does.
that should be his like car commercial. I own this town. Buy my cars.
Okay.
Now we're introduced
Got to
to
introduce Vanity now. So to people who don't know,
Oh, you're not a Vanity fan?
Vanity was a protege of Prince in the 80s.
Uh-huh.
I will admit I don't know a ton about Prince.
They were dating. Vanity is.
Oh, they were dating, okay.
Well, they were, I think, because she's Canadian,
Yes.
and I'm pretty sure that Prince lived in Toronto for a very long time in the Bridle Path, and I'm pretty sure he moved to
the richest area of Toronto
Yeah.
where April and Colin live.
That's where Drake lives, I think. Bridle
Yeah,
Path.
Drake's our neighbor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. We all live together.
You call him Mr. Drake. Hello, Mr.
Hello,
Drake.
Mr. Drake. and
Funny
he's
thing
like,
is, I think another Degrassi actor was our neighbor at some point.
Oh, that's so sad. It's like Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23,
Yeah.
but it's like a Degrassi guy.
well, the Bridle Path is notorious. Like you can drive through the Bridle Path and just see these obscene.
Oh, it's so
homes.
gross.
So I remember when my grandparents came to Toronto for the very first time from Scotland when my parents were first married.
We'd like to see that Drake.
My dad played a prank, so he drove home. They had never been here before, so he drove through the Bridle Path, and then there was some guy. There was some guy on his front lawn of these enormous mansions, and then my dad like yelled out the window like, "Hey Frank, when are you going to return my lawnmower?" Pretending they were neighbors. And the guy just looked at him very confused, and my dad
The guy's like, security, sick of the dogs. And then your dad was like, I'll jump in this pool water to get away. Oh no!
I never knew for years it's bridle like a horse bridle,
Yeah.
not bridal like a bride, not AL. It's BRIDL.
Brittle path.
Yeah, because nobody uses the term bridle anymore.
No.
That's like old timey, like, oh, I'm gonna take a carriage, grab the horse bridle, you
Yes.
know. But yeah, I don't
Let's
know how
go
we
to
got
see
talking
one
about
of those rapping shows with Drake. Yeah.
But yeah, so Vanity is so that I mean, she's really bad in this movie. I'm sorry.
First of all, these music scenes suck.
Yeah, this
Choreographed
sounds
by
bad.
Paula Abdul.
I saw that in the credits, and I don't think the choreography is very good either. I'm sorry,
it's
Paula.
Just
This,
sucks.
is it? There's another movie I'm thinking of this period that's definitely a Joel Silver one. Is it a Lethal Weapon where there's also like auditions for something? Like it seems so familiar.
We just saw.
It's
We
like
just watched the first two Lethal Weapons, and it's not either of those.
I feel
It's not
could be
those.
pretty-
What is it?
Got to be a cliche because it's like,
Yeah.
it's always the cliche. It's like, first of all, this club is called Club Elite.
It's just like this weird like dinner club.
Yeah.
It's like something you'd see in a Frank D'Angelo movie.
Yeah, and it's just like Craig T. Nelson just sitting on his own, watching this private
the chairs
performance.
are turned over. It's like it's not. I think it's an like I said, it's an audition.
It's such a
right?
cliche.
Yeah.
I've seen that before in like so many other movies. But
And she like walks over to him. So they're sleeping together, right?
yeah, but man, it just sucks the air out of the room. This
Well, it's really
performance.
poorly dubbed. So she goes to like the back and she's injecting heroin into her leg, which is how she likes it, I guess. So she's a big drug addict in this movie, and was apparently also in real life, which would explain how she was able to act very convincingly like someone who's addicted to drugs.
She acts.
Yeah,
like,
she had a really bad cocaine problem that
Yeah.
basically led to her death.
Yes.
Yeah,
which is very
she
sad.
acts like tranquilized in this movie. Like
Yeah.
she's almost like slurring her words out. Like
Yeah, which
Have you
just
guys
makes it
ever
sad.
seen Tanya's Island?
No, I've never
Island.
heard of that.
It's a film, a very early film from Vanity, 1980, which is her naked having sex with a Bigfoot monster that was done by Rob Bottin and Rick Baker.
My
Oh
God.
my lord! No, the only other Vanity movie I know is Never Too Young to Die. With
That's
John
right.
Stamos.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And Gene
Simmons.
Simmons, yeah.
That's right.
But yeah, so she's our female lead in this movie.
Ugh. And yeah, she's like a weight, just dragging Carl Weathers down through this entire movie.
Yeah, Carl Weathers just looks sad and wants to do something
Yeah,
else.
he's always
but
just
he's stuck
dragging
with her.
But then like they go in the back. Christine Ellison doesn't he like inject heroin into her boob or something?
He does that like when he like brings her back to his place or
Yeah.
something. And yeah, so it's just like showing that they're sleeping together and he's got her hooked on smack.
But I remember my dad, when I was a kid, we rented this on like VHS. And I remember my dad and my brother watching it. And then
Whoa.
when that scene came up, my dad just like turned to me or to us and was like, "This movie's really sleazy."
I mean, it is sleazy. Is your dad Harrison Ford?
And little Colin was like, "Can we watch Hook, Dad?
It's my favorite.
I'm not watching Hook.
We're watching Action Jackson again."
So now we established that, first of all, we get introduced to Al Young in this scene. It's sort of revealed that Craig T. Nelson is like a karate master.
Yep, we get a training
Yeah.
scene.
Hey, it's time to get to the first action scene of the movie. And who's Craig T. Nelson?
And he's
Coach?
He's
Wait.
kicking ass.
Was he coach?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Coach, right? Yeah. So this happens in a lot of movies where like the bad guy will like beat up the guy who's training him. That does happen a lot of times to show their
Have you done
evil.
that to anyone when you were doing karate?
Of course
April?
not on purpose.
Yeah, after she bests
No,
them,
but you're
she
too
like
strong. You can't control it.
yeah, she like bests them and then like breaks their arm.
Yeah.
and then tells people, "Get him out of
And
here."
the guy's like, oh yeah. So yeah, that happens, and you get to see like his like jumbo mansion. And like during this time, Sharon Stone is like suspecting that he has something to do with these killings, that he's responsible for these killings. There's like a dinner scene where does Action show up and
He
like
does.
berate him at the table?
Which is another kind of like
It's like a scene that goes nowhere.
another cliche. kind
Well,
of-
don't worry. Action will fight goons in this. No, he's leaving again. What?
Yeah. Oh my God. Is the first scene that he does something the bar scene?
No, it's with Sharon Stone.
No, it's the car scene,
Okay,
which is awesome.
yeah.
Sharon Stone kind of walks in or overhears one of his goons talking on the phone about like, I don't know, killing one of the union guys or something. So she goes to Action Jackson to kind of say like, hey, I suspect he's doing something, blah, blah, blah. And then as they're leaving this restaurant, some car tries to like mow her down and then Action like chases it. We get our first big...
He jumps on top of it and he's like, "Oh, is this a bad idea?"
This is a bad idea. But you do get some really good car chase action with somebody hanging from the roof that looks very, very dangerous.
Yeah, it rules.
And-
And then Action Jackson rolls off, and then he like starts yelling at the car. He's like, "Come on, come at me!"
The guy's like revving.
Yeah, he's like, run me over.
You do get this-
No, and
and
he
then
has
the
a gun
car
too.
runs at him, and he flips over it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
But like the guy has a gun. He's like, no, I'm gonna run you over. I could just shoot you.
he
But
does that a few times in the movie. He uses his charm to talk people out of shooting him. And
He also plays chicken with cars multiple times.
Yeah. But there is a great shot of him on top of this rooftop, and then you see this truck swerving out of the way, and it's like just filled with these propane canisters in the back. And you better believe that thing fucking blows up.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah, but then the car crashes and doesn't explode.
Yeah.
Very disappointing.
yeah, because he's gotta go in and get the guy who's gone. He's like, oh.
There's gonna be more explosions later, you guys. I promise.
Oh, geez, are there ever? Well, Sharon Stone does the wise thing. She goes home and confronts Craig T.
And
Nelson.
says, did you
I
kill
know
these
you're
people?
innocent. I know you couldn't have done that.
You're not
Yeah.
a murderer,
You
are
couldn't
you?
have done it, right?
No, baby.
Of course not. Let me just get my gun. And he shoots her. Yeah.
Yeah, so he kills her, and then I think tries to frame Action Jackson.
Did Jackson and Sharon Stone used to date? They have some kind of history, right? Or maybe they're just friends.
No, I don't think so.
No.
I think they just meet at the party for the first time.
I thought they had a history or something.
They met at the party, and then they met again at the restaurant when he confronts Craig T. Nelson.
So she's dead.
She's dead. Yeah, she's out of the picture.
She's out of the movie.
But
we got Vanity.
Action Jackson goes to pick up Vanity. He picks her up. We get to watch another.
Why does he pick her up? How does he know?
She's probably just associated.
Why does he go there?
I think just to get her because he knows they're like she.
How does he know?
She's in the same. He's Action Jackson.
He's got action sense.
Yeah, he knows these things.
So he goes to her home,
and we have to watch another just dull performance by Vanity. Oh God, it sucks.
Action Jackson's walking around going, "Hey, that part where I jumped over that car was cool, right? Huh?
Remember that?
Huh?
Remember that?
I'll wait 20 more minutes. That'll do something."
Yeah, it might happen again.
Well, he like takes her home or follows her home
to her place, and then
her house blows up.
Yeah, her
which is pretty cool.
No, yeah, the phone rings and Action's like, "I hate phones." He like grabs Vanity and pushes her to the ground.
Yeah.
So then he's
the
like,
apartment blows up.
Yeah, that's pretty fun. And then he's like, "I gotta take you back to the hood and to hide out. We're gonna hang out with my old friends." Because I guess she's got info that he needs on Craig T. Nelson or something. So he goes back to this old scummy hotel. Who's this actor?
With the guy with the super deep voice.
He kind of talks like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the actor's name is, but I recognize him instantly, especially his voice.
He's been in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if, and then it turns out that he's kind of like an ex-boxer. I don't know if he is in real life or something, but
I think it's Chino Williams is his name.
Is that why he did that fancy feet thing later?
Yeah, he beats up Al Leong in the end.
It's true. He is the guy that
Yeah.
and this is like a short, vastly overweight man that looks like a jazz singer. But hey,
Yeah, but he talks like this. He
Yeah.
talks like this.
his voice propels his.
This is the
power.
voice he puts on. He actually sounds like this.
You guys are gonna hurt yourself if you keep talking like that.
He does the
Yeah, we're gonna get stuck.
Yeah.
Oh no, my name's Justin the Glue.
But yeah, so this is kind of fun because they arrive at this hotel. I guess maybe it's implied that, he wants her to dry out. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think he's just bringing her into hiding just
out.
so she's not assassinated.
But who turns up are cops from the beginning of the movie. We haven't seen them in an hour.
Oh my God.
They, for some reason, want to arrest Jackson.
They're like, we've been having wild adventures off screen. Every second scene, something's happened.
They've been instructed to arrest Jackson. And Vanity's like, why are these cops? I thought you were a cop. Why are they trying to arrest you? I'm not sure. I guess because Bill Duke works for Craig T. Nelson. I have no idea.
It's fun, yeah. And then when the cops when they're arriving, he starts fighting Billy from Predator, Sonny Landham, I think his name is.
Oh.
He's like some crazy junkie. Remember, they start fighting, and then he this fucking amazing stunt. It's crazy. It's like the camera's looking straight up between these two buildings, like in an alleyway, and then he throws Sonny Landham out the window, and he kind of smashes through the other window on the other side and kind of lands halfway.
That's the thing I'd never seen before. I'm sure it's in every Hong Kong movie ever, but throwing out of a window into another window, that was actually the selling point for this movie. Somebody years and years ago said that this happened in this movie, and I was like, okay, well, I got to see it now.
Not the end of the movie part?
No, they mentioned being thrown out of a window into another window.
Okay.
An adjacent window.
But it's only halfway through the window, and he kind of lands on the window frame, which looks very painful and dangerous.
Yeah, we skipped a whole bunch of stuff before we got to the throwing out the window, though. Because Action goes to a bar, gets knocked out.
The pool hall fight.
I thought that was after this.
No, it's before
okay, so the pool hall fight, which is not great, but it does have Branscombe Renegade.
Joanna. Oh, that guy.
No, it has Branscombe something, who's in a movie I'm trying to watch right now, a Lifetime movie called The Walls Are Watching. It's starring him.
You're trying to watch? Are people keeping you from doing so, April?
It's not available in Canada. I can't find it. I'm going to have to...
You're moving to the States and getting a new address and name.
He was
it's apparently really funny.
I forget his name in Renegade, but it was the Lorenzo Lamas TV show.
And also, as you said, Joanna Man shows up in the scene. Okay, I have never seen Joanna Man, but it's a famously bad movie that has horrible sexual politics.
And he's threatening Carl Weathers. Joanna Man is very small.
He's got a big mouth. That's his thing.
He's like a dork. And then they do have one of the guys from Commando. It's the huge black guy that Schwarzenegger kills on the plane. Yeah, don't
where
bother
he's
my
like,
friend. He's dead tired.
Friend, he's dead tired.
And he puts his hat on over his head. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
so
guy.
it's an okay scene.
It's pretty fun, but they're gonna like cut his nuts off or something. He's
Yeah.
like, what is he? Do you know what happens to a man when he gets his nuts cut off? He's like, well, you're gonna find out. It's hot dog time.
That's the
action
line?
gets
It's hot
action
dog
gets knocked out a lot in this
He
movie.
kind of does, yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, I slipped on a banana
He
peel.
has to keep failing so he can rise at the end.
Do you
And
think
by
like maybe
rise, like at the end of the movie, a little spoiler alert, most of his friends do the work.
Yeah, it's true.
yes. Well, we'll get to that. Okay, so
Well, maybe they just call him action as a joke, like it's
Like I
just
said, yeah,
ironic.
like it's calling like a little dog Hercules or
yeah,
something
yeah,
like that.
or like a tiny lister or
But
something.
yeah, like back we're outside and he wants to get Vanity on his side, so he decides to drive
He steals a cop car, by the way.
into a wall with her in it. And that's supposed to
Convince her.
impress her, I guess.
Sure.
And afterwards she's like, "Damn it, Jackson." And she liked it. She was into it.
She did. She's like, how do you convince me that? And he's like, because of my good looks and charm or something like that.
He does have good looks. I'm not too sure he's charming in this movie, though.
I don't know.
He could be better.
Could be better. CBB.
Yeah.
April's coming around. She's like, Justin, convince
Yeah,
me.
maybe you're right. Yeah, I still love all the action in this movie, but maybe
Yeah.
it's not coming from Jackson so much.
Yeah. Well, we do get a good fight. So there is a factory scene. I guess Jackson like figures out what's going on. So he kind of like,
Yeah, he figures out what's going on. He's like, oh, I got knocked out again.
Oh no.
He's like, you save money. You don't got to travel and pay for gas if they knock you out and take you to your destination.
so he kind of meets up with the patsy that Craig T. Nelson is going to install as the kind of union head, I guess, union boss.
Yeah, which is another black guy that
Yeah.
kind of looks like Carl Weathers.
So
I
he
guess.
meets him at like an old kind of like, I don't know.
They're at the RoboCop factory.
Yeah, it is like, yeah, it does. Yeah, that's right. Well, Detroit.
Also Detroit.
Yeah,
there you go. But then the
They have a factory like that in Detroit every 2 blocks.
the Invisible Men show up. This is the assassin group, and cut to Carl Weathers is shirtless and oiled up.
Oh, he looks so good.
My
Yeah,
God,
I mean, he had to like do like 10, 15
Yeah, he hasn't
million
drank
push-pull-
water in a
He
month
did
at
like
this point.
25 million pull-ups before they shot this scene.
We
Like
were-
he's incredibly pumped,
he
like you do
looks
before a
so-
show.
I would never wear a shirt if I looked like this. It was just like never.
You're at your
I would
computer
just-
at work without a shirt.
I would just
like-
keep a bottle of baby oil next to my desk and
Just like rubbing it on your body.
just
the
rubbing
entire
it on
time.
myself
Yeah.
constantly. But it was so we were watching some video recently. They're like they described his physique as like he looks like an action figure, and they showed a picture of him from Rocky 3. It was like holy shit, like he does. He looks like an action figure.
And he more or less stayed in shape his whole life.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'm not saying he was like, that cut his whole life, but much like Arnold, like
he went
he
like
stayed in shape.
that
yeah.
famous like handshake from Predator. I mean, he was the other half of that, and he went arm to arm with Arnold.
It's true.
That's
But yeah, so Craig T. Nelson's big plan is to frame him for the assassination of, I guess, the last Union head that they have to get.
So, and we kind of figured this out. This is really funny. I'm like, you're like, why is he shirtless? I'm like, well, he looks like that. Come on.
We thought it was just so he could show off his body.
But in the next scene, they reveal that the assassin is actually he's dressing up like Carl Weathers to make people think that it's him. So he kind of, they tie him up and they have like a welding torch they're going to torture him with.
Yeah. I guess he's just sweating. He's not covered in baby oil, but then they really turn the heat on. So it's like, that's why he's so slick.
And he's rescued by, I think it's Vanity's bodyguard. The Muslim
we missed
guy.
that earlier. She has a giant bodyguard at her door when she's like doing drugs, and Carl Weathers is trying to like, hassle her, and he punches him in the face, and he doesn't move. He's impenetrable, and so they're kind of adversaries. But now he's come to rescue.
Comes to the
him.
rescue,
Yeah.
and this is a kind of funny scene. It's like Carl Weathers just like, I don't know, he has like a flamethrower. He kind of
Well,
just
they were
like,
going to flamethrower him.
yeah, it's true. But what did they say?
Wait, so,
like,
and Carl Weathers has the weirdest line when he flamethrowers the guy.
yeah,
He goes, chill out. What?
Yeah,
What?
that's
If I was the guy, I'd be like, huh? Is this some kind of ice ray you're about to zap me with?
What the guy does is that he looks at the gas can in his hand and he goes, "Oh shit!" and he just explodes.
yeah,
right?
as if that's like
He should have thrown the gas can at Carl Weathers because then it would explode between them, therefore
I don't
giving
think
him
it
time to
works that
escape.
way.
No,
Well,
it's
this
an
is-
action movie,
The guy looks at the gas can in his hand like that's the reason he's
Yeah.
in trouble.
not the flame.
Not the flamethrower that is incinerating him.
chill out.
Chill out.
It's an Arnold line. That's a Mr. Freeze line.
Yeah, it's just terrible. But then one of the invisible men, before they're going to burn Carl Weathers, says like, "Yeah, let's have a barbecue." And then it's like he kills them all, and then it's like the last guy, and he says, "What did you say? You're gonna have a barbecue?"
barbecue?
And he torches the guy, and this is one of the
He
funniest.
shoots him with a rocket launcher.
Yeah, he blows up instantly. And he's like, "How do you like your ribs?" And it
Cut to a shot
And
of
then it
ribs.
cuts to ribs.
Yeah.
being cooked on a barbecue
at the party, which is good.
magnificent.
Why? That's like the only good one-liner in the movie. I mean, like, no, I'm saying I think it's the only good one.
Yeah,
and
I
it's
would
great.
say.
It's great though.
Yeah, it's great, and it's punctuated by
Would you
like
say
the best
like
cut.
that's your favorite thing? That one-liner.
Well, I mean, obviously, my favorite thing is going to be, but
just Carl Weathers himself.
No, I mean like the scene at
Oh,
the
the
end.
finale. Well, I'll take the ribs line then because
Okay.
I love a good one-liner, and there should have been more.
That's a good one.
Here's my beef with this movie is that it's not that there aren't one-liners, it's that there are ones that they're not very good.
Yeah, they kind of fall a little
They're like
flat.
you know.
Ribs
Wait,
one.
there's a one-liner, and we missed it at the beginning, where the two cops in the car go, "Oh man, there's been no sex at your house forever. They should call it the House of Wax." And I was like, okay.
I missed
I was
that.
like, are there like pocket pussies made of wax? Like, is that
I
what
don't
it's a
think
reference
so.
to?
I think it's the House of Wax because everybody is motionless and
and therefore not having sex.
not doing anything. It's just like
That
people
is just a bad. Who wrote this script?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a guy that it was his first screenplay, and he did Demolition Man, and that's it.
I'm not an expert on the history of sex toys, but maybe they did used to. The early
Like made of
fleshlights
wax?
maybe were
Yeah.
made of candle wax. Or I don't know.
That seems like a bad idea. You destroy it in like one.
I lit it
that
on
too
fire. I
hot?
thought that's what
It
you were
just
supposed to do,
melts.
like a candle.
It would just melt.
How hot is your dick?
The friction, it created flames.
It'd just be like, oh, now my sheets are covered in wax.
Yeah.
I can't get it off.
Okay, so
Bad
now
idea.
we're at the final location.
A wax light.
The big party that Carl Weathers is infiltrating. Is he dressed up as like a server or just like a guest?
Just a guest. It seems like everybody is at this party. Like everyone in the movie,
which
that
I
you've met
like
up to this point.
and it's very cute, which I didn't suspect.
Everybody in the city was invited.
It seems like
all
it.
of the
Who's
friends,
who?
all of the friends he's met along the way,
Men made along the way.
are at this party, and they're there to help him.
How the hell did they get into this party? It looks like very exclusive. It's
Who
like the who's
knows?
who of Detroit. But I guess like Craig T. Nelson wants everybody there so that when the guy is assassinated, everyone can see is like, look, it's Action Jackson. And then it's
yeah.
one of his assassins dressed as him. He should be like not wearing a shirt if they want to like, show that it's Carl. I don't know, whatever.
No, he's wearing
Yeah,
the red
like he just
shirt.
rips his shirt off. It just like rips itself off.
Action Jackson.
There's a great scene here, though, where the guy's going to be assassinated. Action Jackson notices him in the tree. Tarzan's off some lights
Yes.
that then hit the guy and electrocute him.
Yeah, it was very strange. But
Loved it.
in ingenuity that I like.
But then doesn't the guy fall down and is like impaled on these like
Yeah.
spikes or something like that?
This ending is so fun. It feels like everybody woke up and we're like, oh boy, we got to do something in this ending, right?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. It's probably like when they looked at the script, they're like, okay, there's nothing happening. Okay, we're going to put a car chase here. We're going to put a big ending here.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. And just sort of like built the movie around that. But, this ending. It's amazing. So Craig T. Nelson has Vanity kidnapped.
It's the classic, like, Jackson, help! And
Yeah.
he's got
Yeah,
Vanity.
Craig T. Nelson's like,
Yeah.
I'm going to inject Vanity with some heroin while the party's
Yep,
going on
I
in my
guess.
bedroom.
Yeah.
Maybe he's like going to give her an overdose or something to
Yeah,
like
that's
shut her
probably
up.
the idea.
Yeah.
So Action Jackson has to infiltrate using a car. I guess there's like
they had a model car there that for some reason is gassed up.
ready to go as they are in movies.
Yep.
Prototypes.
So he just gets in
Uh,
and drives into Craig T. Nelson's house.
yes.
Now, he is a millionaire, but his
Now,
house is really
did you
fucking
guys
big.
notice the weirdest one-liner of the movie.
Which one?
What?
Where Carl Weathers runs over a guy, and it sounds like he's dubbed going, "You lose." And it sounds like somebody else's voice is doing it. I rewinded it 4 times.
I think
He
I do.
runs a guy into the wall, and you hear, "You lose." And I was like,
the worst one line.
Yeah, we have to put a line in here, or otherwise he just
And his-
cold-blooded murders someone.
and his lips are just lightly moving, they clearly, and it doesn't sound like Carl Weathers.
Well, he sounds like more of a monster when he's making one-liners after murdering
You gotta
somebody.
keep it light.
Yeah,
Keep it light.
chill out. Maybe chill out is hey, I'm about to light you on fire, and if you chill out, you could survive this.
I guess.
You lose.
Really, I'm warning you.
You lose makes it doesn't really make
if,
sense.
If Mr. Freeze was flame on, and then he
Yeah.
froze a guy,
Yeah.
that'd be weird.
yeah.
Things are about to get hot. Then he freezes him or something.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, the biggest selling point of this movie is this scene.
This scene is absurd.
So Carl Weathers drives a car through the hallways of Craig T. Nelson's house,
Up his stairs.
up the stairs, down the hallway, and into his bedroom.
These hallways, these are the
They built a set
to
do
accommodate.
this.
Yeah. These are the widest hallways you have ever seen in your life.
We don't know how wide rich people's houses are, right?
Well,
Rich people's bedrooms are big enough to just have a sports car in.
I know,
apparently,
but-
and he just parks it beside the bed. There's room for it.
Well, he's driving down and skidding and turning corners and stuff. Again, they're 20 feet wide. Maybe Craig T. Nelson just likes to drive his cars in his house. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe he does that all the time.
Maybe he's very lazy and he's just I gotta go to bed.
Gotta go to bed.
So Carl Weathers is turning his own tagline against him. He's like, hot, hotter, hottest. And then Craig T.
Yeah.
Nelson looks out and he's like, oh,
Craig T.
Jesus
Nelson
Christ.
should be like, "What? I can't hear you over the car driving
Yeah.
through my home."
He sees it coming towards him, and he's like, "Yo, fuck!" and gets out of the way.
I love how he closes the door
Yeah.
like that's going to do anything to
Yeah.
this car that rams through his perfectly sized bedroom door.
And what happens to Craig T. Nelson?
Well, they get in a karate fight again. He's got a gun, and then
He wants to go mano
he
a
goes,
mano.
let's go mano a mano. And then Craig T. Nelson it kind of beats the shit out of Action
Well,
Jackson.
it was well set up that he is a karate
The rest
master.
of the movie should have indicated that I can't do very much, even though I'm very muscle. The muscle is for show.
I'm just really good at paperwork. Oh, I'm gonna write you up in the morning, sir. So then I don't know. He gets a second wind and then kills Craig T. Nelson. He just shoots him, I guess.
He just
at the
shoots.
end.
Yeah, isn't there just let's both get our guns out now?
Yeah. Kinda
He
shoots
should
him.
have just fucking ran him over. Wouldn't that have been great? No, he should have ran him over and then he flies out the bedroom window.
That would be wicked if his
Right?
body is on the front of the car as it goes
And
out.
then-
It goes out
Yeah.
the bedroom window
And
into the yard
and lands on an ice sculpture.
or in the fountain or something.
Yeah.
No, it has to be an ironic death of some sort. So he lands in a car-making machine. He's like, "No!"
That he just happens.
How is there not a fight in a factory somewhere?
Yeah,
There was, but no machinery.
It needs
Yeah,
to be.
you need machinery
yeah.
and people being thrown in
There was,
it.
a
And
couple
Action
of,
Jackson should be
chains.
like, "Put on the brakes," and then he throws him in a brake making machine.
It needs to be an escalating series of impalement, like in Con Air.
I was just thinking that at the end of Con Air, where the guy
goes in-
John Malkovich is getting
He gets electrocuted
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
defenestrated,
yeah,
and then
he gets grinded up into some kind of machine. I
Wonderful.
forget what the fuck it was.
What is the one-liner that John Malkovich says to Cyrus the Virus when he kills him?
oh what oh
I don't remember.
what Nicolas Cage says to him.
No, it's. Dang it! I thought you guys were going to be on it and be like,
No, Cyrus
Even
the
though
Virus
we co-
is John Malkovich.
We covered this movie and I don't remember.
No, neither do I.
"Oh, well, he has a really funny one-liner."
smushed.
People are yelling right now.
He says, "Good luck," or what was it? You lose.
Yeah, the classic one-liners.
The
From
classic.
Action Jackson.
Okay, so Justin, is the "you lose" line your favorite?
Yeah, that's my favorite thing. Him being like,
great.
someone else dubbing Carl Weathers going, "You lose."
Well, yeah, he did
So
lose.
yeah, the movie's over. Vanity and Carl Weathers.
Oh, I got it. what happened to Cyrus the Virus? He's about to kill the guy, and the guy about to be killed goes, "Sigh!" And then John Malkovich goes, "Onara," and throws a cigarette.
That is good.
That's
CJ
classic.
had a good writer on that movie.
Yeah.
Sigh, you lose.
You lose.
So yeah, is there anything else in this movie? I mean, the cops
no.
show up again.
I think
to,
so.
To crack wise.
It's like Vanity says she's gonna dry out, get off
Yeah,
heroin.
I'm gonna clean up. And
Yeah.
Action's like, yeah, sure.
All right,
It's harder
cool.
than that, Vanity.
By the
it takes-
way, you really suck singing, so maybe don't do that.
Maybe
well,
find a
too
new
late.
career.
I'm Prince's protege.
Yeah, and then we get the Pointer Sisters. Turn me out. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. I think this is a really fun movie.
It's a fun movie. It has equal parts highs and lows. Let's
But
say.
I really feel like it doesn't like, you know how we always say like, oh, it would be fun like if at a party or at a theater. I think this would be fun.
Well, it's
Not-
supposedly
you know-
killed when I played at the review a bunch of times.
Really.
Oh, I'm sure it
Yeah.
did. Yeah, this absolutely would play with a crowd. Big
Yeah,
time. But I'm
yeah.
just saying, even if you're at home alone on a Thursday night and you just want to watch something silly
On a
and
Wednesday
fun,
night and it's Valentine's Day and you're like, just finished
Action-
recording a podcast. I guess I'll
Action
record
Jackson.
Action Jackson again.
yeah. But I really do think that this is a really good movie, and so is Stone Cold.
Oh,
I
Stone
know-
Cold is
I don't know if we'll
awesome.
ever cover that, but it's,
We will.
It's similar to this movie in a lot of ways.
We will.
But
Yeah,
I
I
think
do,
Do I like Stone Cold more?
I like this one better.
No, Stone Cold is, I think, from beginning to end is just absurd.
I think there's more like fun characters in this one. There's more different characters.
I disagree.
I think I like Stone Cold more. I think the climax of Stone Cold is wilder than Action Jackson.
It's
I
pretty
think-
wild, and it does have that actor I like with the blue eyes, the devil's son guy, as
Oh,
one
that
of the
dude.
number 2s or number 3s.
I like Stone Cold better.
Mac's dad from Always Sunny.
We might have to do I Come in Peace now.
I know.
Director.
Well, that's a Christmas movie. Save it for December.
man.
Oh, seeing as I've never seen it, and I really
Yeah.
I've never even seen like a clip of it. All I know is what I've been
Oh,
told. And
the villain has a gun that literally creates explosions every time that he fires
Oh
it.
yeah, it's
That's pretty
amazing.
cool.
What is it? There was another name for it, wasn't it?
Yeah, Dark Angel.
Oh, lame.
Yeah,
that
boring.
sucks.
Yeah.
So Action
And you'll go in
Jackson.
pieces.
Action Jackson is a hard title to say.
Jackson.
It is.
Action Jackson.
It's available.
I mean, if you put an accent on it,
if you
yes.
sound like Patrick Stewart.
Jackson.
It's available to rent from Apple iTunes. So consider renting it. I would highly recommend
Check it out in honor of Carl Weathers, or watch
Yeah.
Happy Gilmore and make a stew.
Yes, do all those
gotta
things.
do that.
Why didn't he get to do more comedy movies? He's so funny in Happy Gilmore.
I know he's great.
Dunno.
Like maybe that just wasn't what he wanted to do, or I mean, who knows?
No, he's-
Right? Maybe he was just enjoying retirement, and then he decided to come back. for
No,
a few
he
small
likes.
things.
Yeah, I think he probably would have liked to act in more stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like, look at him in Mandalorian. He was having a blast doing that and getting to direct and stuff like that. That was.
I wonder if after Rocky, he just didn't want to be associated with like the Creed persona, which is why like he doesn't really do that in Action Jackson.
Well, does he have any involvement in those Creed movies?
No,
I don't think so.
Like not
Famously,
even
he
like as
doesn't.
a
No.
producer. No, okay.
He wanted to get on it, and Stallone's like, "Oh, you're dead," and he's like, "Yeah, you can bring me back though."
Hey,
Figure out
ever
something."
hear of a flashback?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's old now, but you get the
Well, technically,
de-aging.
Creed was Apollo Creed was dead by the time his son was born.
Yeah, but bring him back as like a Force ghost or something.
Yeah, I think he really wanted to come back, and Sylvester Stallone's like, "No."
No, I want to hog all the glory.
Yeah, until they push me off of the film.
Yeah, and now he's out. So anyway, if you want to email the podcast, we're at no such thing as a bad movie at gmail.com, and we're on Twitter and Instagram at no such thing pod, also on YouTube. So if you want to listen to us, and if we ever make visual references to things, like there's a picture that Justin sent us of Vanity
God, it's
and
Vanity and
that
a Bigfoot.
that Rob Bottin Bigfoot.
Oh my
That's gonna be
God.
on the YouTube. I'll put it
you may
right
want to
here.
censor because I think our nipples in the
I'll
shot
censor
that
it.
I
I'll
sent
censor
you.
it.
God, that is
I'll censor it.
horrifying.
So stuff like that. So
That's a whole movie too.
Oh my God, that's a good Sasquatch Bigfoot.
Yeah, Rick Baker
mask.
and Rob Bottin working together.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that's terrifying.
But yeah, we're also we have a Patreon, so consider supporting us on there. For $5 a month, you get a little bonus episode every 2 weeks. And this week we're talking about The Beekeeper, and also Saw X. And they did get the Jigsaw voice in there.
Sorry, my throat.
Yeah, so that'll be coming out soon, and we have lots of other bonus content available. And those episodes come out every 2 weeks. So, and if you want to find me, I am on Twitter and Instagram at April Atmansky.
You can follow me on Twitter or Blue Sky at Justin DeClue, and you can also listen to me every week on the Very Fine Comic Book Podcast, where we talk about comic books. It's very fun and really for beginners too.
You can follow me, Carnage Cunningham, on Twitter, Sergeant Zima, SGTZIMA.
Wait, did you change your name? Oh.
No, Carnage Cunningham.
Just this week.
That's what people
Just
call
this
me,
week, okay.
Carnage Cunningham.
Because you love Cletus Cassidy. Carnage.
Let there be carnage.
Let there be carnage.
Or, as we like to say, let there be Madam Web.
Exactly.
She's coming.
Madam
we may
Web
have to do
came out
that.
today. Well, are you saying we have to go to the movies to see it? Because
Oh,
I'm
she
down.
did come out
It did,
today.
yeah.
I
I
forgot.
mean, we can see it this weekend.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah, we'll see.
I haven't seen Morbius. I'm afraid I'll be lost.
Exactly. I mean, the reviews are in. It's terrible. But
Yeah, the movie that looked bad, was a bad idea, was made by people who only make bad movies, is bad.
the star is basically saying it's bad with her promotional videos.
Who says that she was, that basically like she was tricked into it, thinking it was a mainline Marvel movie.
I love her. She's just such.
She just gives no
She's so bizarre.
fucks. Like, she just will do and say anything she wants because she's already rich and famous.
Yeah,
You know what
she
I
just
mean?
like doesn't live in our reality. It's great.
No.
My parents are very rich. I've never had to fend for anything in my life.
Did you
It's,
see
very
that video
difficult.
of her? The people were saying she came into a coffee shop and then asked the barista to like if she could make the coffee herself. They said no, and then she like tied the door shut.
I don't know how true
what?
that is. I
Yeah,
saw
there's
it
like
on
video
Twitter today.
online. She like closed the door and then took like a rope or something out of her bag and then just tied the rope shut.
Well, the question is, why does she have a rope?
I don't know. Dakota Fanning. Not Dakota Johnson.
Dakota Johnson.
Sorry. Who cares?
But I
you
do
know?
love those.
Too many famous dynasties.
I like those 50 Shades
Legacy
movies
actor.
because she acts
No, is it?
she acts sarcastically in everything except Suspiria. She was
Yeah.
good in that. Anyway,
Because that's a good movie.
thank you for joining us.
Legacy artist. That's the title.
A legacy artist. Thank you for joining us, and R.I.P. Carl Weathers. We will miss you greatly. Check out more Carl Weathers stuff. I'm April Mansky.
I'm Justin DeClue. Have a stew on him.
Oh, remember, don't touch that per diem.
And remember, there's no such thing as a bad movie.